You come down there and you were close to my tractor again. I had a piece of come off where you know what you call it, right up the arm where the push hard goes on there. That broke off. I'm gonna fix it. And well, she's cold. She is cold. When they keep it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can fix that.
They had a shop across the field from our house. He started working on the school. So we couldn't be gone for a few days. We got back, Jana and one of my grandkids was out in the yard. She called, run over there and come sliding up in the yard.
Yeah.
It's about that time. It's about that time. It's about that time. It's about that.
We're going to call this commission meeting to order. We do have a quorum today, as all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Ivy, who is in Shelby County on business, county-related business, and certainly we wish him safe travels, and hopefully he'll be here at the next meeting. Today is 9/11. I believe this is the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and I know that date is most likely ingrained in the minds of everyone here. We all know exactly where we were and what we were doing when we found out about the terrorist attacks. So if y'all indulge me, I'm going to ask that we just take a brief moment of silence to remember the victims, the members of the military and their family and their sacrifices, and as well as our first responders. Thank you for that. Our invocation today will be led by Pastor Jonathan Sorensen, Cowards Baptist Church, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Curtis Harvey. If you'll all stand.
Let's pray. Lord, we are grateful that you are a God that we can bring our petitions to. And Lord, this morning I thank you for the men that you have placed in positions of leadership and responsibility. And Lord, I pray that you would give them discernment, Lord, as they make decisions. Lord, you would give them wisdom as they seek to honor and glorify you in everything that they say and do. And Lord, that they bring flourishing and goodness and peace to your people. So Lord, we ask all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Gentlemen, you each received a copy of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Harvey, and I will say a second by Commissioner Adams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Announcements from the chairman and the commissioners. I know I mentioned this earlier. Today is the anniversary of 9/11. I don't have an exhaustive list of all the ceremonies and events going on today, but if you have a chance to step in on one of those, I'd highly advise it. And I know that Commissioner Adams also had an announcement.
The Memorial Vietnam Wall is at the fairgrounds for a couple more days. It's the first time it's been in the Wiregrass area. And I'd like for you to go out there and look at it. It's really neat what they've done. A lot of people made that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe I was told that is the largest traveling wall in existence. I think there's a few walls that travel different places, but that's the largest traveling wall. So pretty neat. Any other announcements from the commission?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, we will move right on into awards and presentations. And I will step down. All right, now we'll ask Dana Bonnie, who is the Executive Director of the 334 Prevention Project, to come up here and join me. Gentlemen, I will need a motion to approve this proclamation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Herring, second by Commissioner Adams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, Dana, you're just a regular. We always enjoy having you here. I will read this proclamation. It reads, whereas children are our future and society's greatest asset, and committed families shape and guide children by preparing them for obstacles and encouraging them to overcome life's demanding challenges. And whereas children who spend 30 minutes a day eating or engaging with families significantly reduces the risks of suicide, poor academic performance, obesity, teen pregnancy, and developing substance misuse disorder. And whereas children of concerned and active families are far less likely to exhibit risky and unhealthy behaviors such as smoking, drinking, or using illegal drugs because of the valuable time spent with families and the positive examples set by their families. And whereas simple daily activities such like sharing a meal, a conversation, or a book can have an enormous impact on the life of a child, strong and engaged families help build a strong Houston County. And it is our responsibility as concerned family members to help create a solid foundation for the future health and happiness of all of Houston County's children. Now, therefore, I, Brandon Shute, Chairman of the Houston County Commission, do hereby proclaim September 26, 2023 as Family Day, a day to eat dinner with your children in Houston County, and urge all citizens to join in this day's activities and programs in our community. We ask for parents to turn off your cell phone and tell your children to do the same, and make a regular date with your children. Let them know how important they are to you. Listen to what they have to say. Also, we ask you to work all year long to build our community coalition to address the use and abuse of drugs and alcohol, increase awareness, and develop educational programs to create effective changes in attitudes and usage that will make our community drug-free. Dana, I will present this to you, and I know this is a tradition that I guess we grew up doing in my family. We always had dinner together, and certainly our family now, we always have dinner together, but I guess that is more unusual than normal it is, or at least it is these days. So I'll invite you to make comments.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Commissioners. It is very unusual in this day and age because we're busier than ever. So I brought my notes, my old school notes, so bear with me. So while there are many ways to for families to have success and strategize and ways to decrease risk factors and establish protective factors, we choose to focus on mealtime because it is it's the most consistent time available. We have to eat every day. So if you're looking at 20 minutes, it's the 20 most, one meal a day, 3 times a week. It's been proven that it'll decrease family stress overall 91%. And I'll get into some detailed ways in a second, but it's the most the most powerful 20 minutes in the life of a family in their day. So we just want to encourage every family to take full advantage of it. And so some other things that are notable is that it increases self-esteem, it improves cardiovascular health, reduces risk of substance misuse and depression, teen pregnancy, obesity, better communication with more confidence, reported fewer problems as a result of bullying. Indicators and red flags, potential red flags, are more easily recognized by parents because you're actually focused on listening, active listening, instead of going in a million directions. Regular family contact facilitates more parental guidance and open communication between children and adolescents. And so, I mean, that's enough reason to do it. So we are coming back to bring awareness to this day, this opportunity in a bigger way than has been in a while, since before COVID and at all since I've been director for 2 years. So in doing that, we're going to have a social media campaign, and it's gonna be called, Disconnect to Connect, encouraging disconnecting from phones. And we're gonna have, thanks to the Alabama Department of Tourism, we're going to have an event at Kiwanis Park on the 26th at 6 o'clock until the food runs out. And we're thankful for that because we're thankful that, Alabama believes that a drug-free Alabama is a better place to visit, better place to live. So, we will have speakers and giveaways, and just want to encourage everybody to eat together and spread the word about how important it is and the opportunity that every family has. And because we believe strongly in the power of prevention. And that's key. So thank you.
Thank you. This time I will ask Mr. David Hanks, Chief Executive Officer of the Wiregrass Area Food Bank, to come forward. And gentlemen, I will also need a motion on this item.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Herring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Proclamation is approved. Thank you for being here. I'll read this. It says, whereas the Wiregrass Area Food Bank distributed 866,550 pounds of food last year throughout Houston County's 54 participating agencies, and provided 676,992 meals for Houston County citizens. And whereas the Wiregrass Area Food Bank serves 599 Houston County senior citizens throughout the Brown Bag program of the Wiregrass. And whereas during the past 33 years, the food bank distributed more than 86 million pounds of food. That's a lot of food that would otherwise have gone to waste. Helped provide more than 67 million meals, served approximately 100 agencies, and provided support to the Wiregrass during times of natural disaster. Now, therefore, I, Brandon Shute, Houston County Commission Chairman, do hereby proclaim September as Hunger Action Month, and urge the citizens of Houston County to fight hunger in our community by supporting the Wiregrass Area Food Bank. David, you have always been a great leader in this community and a great partner in the Houston County Commission. I'll invite you to come up and make comments.
Well, thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to the Houston County Commission. In 1990, when the food bank was started, the commission was right there with the gentleman that got it going, Mr. Tommy Ricketts and Mr. Frank Martin. And the rest is history. The first month, 4,000 pounds of food was distributed. They were ecstatic. Today, we distribute about 10,000 pounds a day. So they didn't know what they were creating. But the commission's been there as partner all these years. And recognizing Hunger Action Month is another way to help the food bank. You don't know who's in a hunger emergency a lot of times. It could be somebody that's lost their job, or their wages have gone down, or inflation has gone up. You don't know where it's coming from. It can be a senior citizen that didn't plan correctly for their retirement. There's so many people that get affected by hunger that are very proud and they won't ask for assistance. So hunger is everywhere throughout the Wiregrass. And so this is one way we can bring attention to the hunger problem here in Houston County. And we know that 1 person out of 6 is in what we call a food emergency when they go to bed tonight. But as my assistant director, Julie John's office would say, 5 out of 6 can help that person. So thank you so much.
All right. Last item under awards and presentations is a presentation for our 3rd quarter service anniversaries. Now, Sherry's out today, so we are blessed with Anissa McKenzie's being here to fill in that role. So Anissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you for this opportunity to recognize our employees who have extended service for Houston County, which is what we're going to do at this time. So if you're here and you're here for the service, if you'll come on up. Not everybody at once.
Don't be shy.
Don't be
Come on.
shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Just come up and behind. This is actually awesome for Houston County because our employees are doing such a great job. So we love to take the opportunity to acknowledge that they have served the county with their time and are doing such an awesome job for us. So we're going to start out when I call your name. If you will raise your hand, or you can't really step back of the window lines, but just raise your hand, and we will acknowledge the 5-year anniversaries first. Slade Stewart, I believe he is out today. Bobby Aldridge. Murray Rodriguez. Jonathan Berry. Haran Johnson. Dusty Oswald. Benjamin Parrish. Chris Summerlin. Graham Lee. Walter Lewis. I don't see him either. If we can take a moment and give them a round of applause. It's 5 years. Next, we have one person who has had 10 years of service, Jennifer Pearson. The next group is 15 years of service. Sherry Douglas. Bonnie Phillips. Cynthia Telfair. Frank Cannon. The last is special recognition, actually. I don't actually see him, but Brock Cody had 25 years of service. Y'all kind of squeeze in, let us get a picture. We appreciate your service, and thank y'all for all that you do for Houston County.
Got it what now? Block them.
All right, thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you, Anissa, and also thanks again to all of our county employees. There's absolutely nothing would happen in this county without our team members, so thank you. All right, we are going to move on to the regular agenda. Item number 1 is a request to approve the 2023-2024 ACCA joint county bids for bulk cement, concrete pipe, HDPE pipe, herbicides, and liquid asphalt.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Herring and second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item number 2 is a request from the Personnel Board to concur in the 2024 county holiday schedule.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey and second by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or discussion? I believe all these are our normal customary holidays. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item number 3 is a request to approve budget amendment in the amount of $5,500 to assist Webb and Madrid volunteer fire departments with maintaining their status as an eligible volunteer fire department.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harvey and second by Commissioner Adams. Discussed this on Thursday. Any questions or further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item number 4 is a request to adopt resolution in support of the Department of Human Resources to construct a new facility at 172 Pravat Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Herring and second by Commissioner Harvey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item number 5 is a request to adopt resolution authorizing purchase of real property related to economic development and/or acquisition for public utility, public works purposes as part of a single project and authorize chairman to negotiate contract related to said property.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Herring and second by Commissioner Adams, I believe.
Correct.
Any questions or discussion? Bless you. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion passes. Item number 6 is a request to approve the 2023-2024 budget.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Adams and second by Commissioner Harvey. Chief Administrative Officer is going to make a presentation and we will vote after that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While the video is raising, again, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the department heads and elected officials who aided and assisted in putting together this budget. Without them, this would be an impossible task. As well as the feedback and information that both the commission has provided me during our discussions, as well as the guidance and direction that you all have given me, and I appreciate that very much. So what I have before you is an executive summary of the highlights of the budget presentation. You all have had an opportunity to look at that detailed book, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. But with that being said, let me just continue with this presentation. So as was discussed earlier, on Thursday, this budget includes the wage study, the full implementation of the wage study. And as I mentioned, the department heads have been willing to adjust their departmental budgets to be able to accommodate for that increase in the wage that this wage study recommended. The wage study is estimated to be about $2.2 million. And each of the departments of the sheriff, road and bridge, and probate department has offered to eliminate a position through attrition. And that there were a couple of positions that were requested to be added. One was a half-time position down in the jail to help with a lot of the medical insurance requirements and other medical items for the inmates, as well as increase in from a part-time to a full-time individual, in the personnel department. This budget also includes in its estimation a 6.5% increase in the healthcare costs and the recommended tier 1, tier 2 contribution rates from the RSA. This page shows the capital items that have been requested by the departments, various departments, but I do want to point out that specifically Road and Bridge has really looked at reducing the amount of heavy equipment that they were purchasing so that we could better afford this wage study. And as a result, they have not requested their normal 16 dump trucks that they rotate through. Now, again, I say that this is the recommended budget request, but as the year unfolds and as the events change, the estimated revenue that I have in this budget, I estimated conservatively as usual. It may turn out to be a point where we can take advantage of that rotation that Road and Bridge does. It is a benefit to the county. We're able to basically rotate through some dump trucks at a minimal net cost to the county, and we're always having vehicles that are under warranty. In fact, I think I've heard our county engineer say that we rotate them so quickly, sometimes we don't even have to change oil. And as you can see, these are some of the other highlighted items that have been requested for replacement and capital expansion in our county. This next slide indicates where the projected fund balance is to be for all funds excluding ARPA. I say that because ARPA is not a recurring event that's going to happen. This is going to sunset at December 2024 to be expended by December 2026. So for comparative purposes, I felt it was more appropriate to show it without ARPA. There'll be a slide later on the ARPA funds. And you would see in your budget documents, you would see the individual ARPA projects that are proposed to be funded. Some have been authorized already through resolution and other allocation, and some are yet to be commenced, but they are earmarked by the commission for ARPA funds. So this basically includes general fund and the other special funds. This is general funds only, so you can see that the forecasted fund balance at the end of next year is to be just over $13.5 million, which is in compliance with the policy of the commission. This is just ARPA only, so this is kind of giving you an idea of how the commission has addressed spending these special funds. Some have been expensed, as you know. Our windows are a perfect example of that. And other contracts have been bid out and awarded, and we're in the process of fully utilizing these ARPA funds for long-term investment into the county. And I want to take this moment to commend the commission for getting out of this project so quickly, because there are a lot of counties in our state that have not really come to a full consensus on what to spend their money on, and they're running out of people, contractors, to do this work. And so they're running up against deadlines. This commission has been on top of this project, and I just want to take this moment to commend you, gentlemen, for your hard work and making sure that you're investing in the long-term impacts on the county. This is a slide that basically shows non-ARPA expenditures and revenue. The revenue is in green, the expenditures are in red. And as you can see, again, this year we're expending more than we're expecting to receive in revenue. But I do want to point out that I have no capital funding here. I have no lease or bonds that are general obligation warrants that are part of this expenditure. If, during the course of the year, I may have to come back to you to suggest that we consider financing some of these items, depending on cash flow. As the cash flows in, we may have to request some funding. But right now, with the forecast of the fund balance and these expenditures on the revenue that's in this budget, I don't foresee the need for that right now. And I think it's probably best that we try to avoid that, because I think in the future, we may be looking at some greater needs that we want to make sure that we have sufficient funding availability for. This is a pie chart showing the general sources of the revenue, and the majority of which is coming from the Revenue Commissioner, which has been historically the case, and sales and use taxes, with probate being the state income and probate being the third and fourth largest contributors to, in addition to Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge does provide revenue through their grants.
Yeah, grants and any storm money and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is the growth in the Revenue Commissioner's revenue. And as you can see, the growth is, although there was a reappraisal, the growth is sort of slowing down. This is a conservative estimate based upon the abstract that we received from the Commissioner's Department, which they get from the state. Sales and use tax, this primary driver of this is both SSUT and general bricks and mortar sales tax, but SSUT is starting to decline in its growth. And that's why I want to point out to you gentlemen that although we're continuing to anticipate growth in that area, I don't expect it to be growing quite like it has been over the last 4 years. This is, again, a pie chart reflecting the expenditures, again, without ARPA. And this is primarily labor and benefits. The green line is what actual expenses are. This furthest point, the 26,595, is anticipated to be what this year will come in. And the gap between the red and the green there is an indication of our vacancies that we had. Although that's now coming to a close, and we're expecting to be able to be a more full complement for our citizens' needs. But the anticipation with this wage study is that we're looking at a budget of $31.4 million. Our operating expenses, although the county departments have been very frugal in their requests for their expenditures, they still are expanding their services provided to our county. And so we are growing somewhat in the expenditures, but they have cut back on what they normally would have requested to be sure that they can fund that wage study. This is the agency allocation. I just want to point this out to you. The trend overall is still increasing. These are the funds that the commission awards to the various nonprofits and other agencies in the county. The peak last year was because of the extra $750,000 that the commission awarded to both the rescue and the firefighters associations for their purposes. And this is an indication of our lease spending. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm trying to decrease our debt so that we have the availability to borrow if we as we look forward to the future. This is just a little bar chart of where these expenditures are coming. Contract services and road and building materials should kind of be looked at together. Not all of the contract services are the outsourcing of the paving of the roads, but a good bit of it is. So road and bridge is still kind of a major expenditure for this county. As the chairman had pointed out, we're trying to get down to a 33-year replacement period as opposed to a 100-year replacement period. Fuels and lubricants, $1.6 million. As we all know, our fuel prices have sort of gone high. I anticipate them to stabilize based upon all leading indicators that I have. But still, I anticipate it to be a fairly significant investment in the county. Not any more miles driven, just price per gallon. And this is a long-term debt summary for you gentlemen to see both what the outstanding principal is for each one of those bonds that we have out and when their anticipated maturity date is. This is our bond and lease payments. This kind of gives you an idea of the next few years of what we're going to incur and as committed to debt funding for bonds and leases. This is sort of a first pass of our anticipated healthcare and dental insurance rates for the county and for the county employees. I will point out that there was a letter that I received late last week that indicated that I had overestimated what that increase would be. So the actual will come a little bit less than that, but I didn't have time to boil that into this presentation. But I anticipated a 6.5% increase and it came in at 3.5%, which typically is an indication of our experience. So we're hopefully having a healthier population in our county. And this is sort of the approved position headcount. As I indicated, there's a net decrease of 2. This is of the approved positions, not necessarily the filled positions, but this is what the commission has approved that needs to be budgeted. And finally, this is a indication of both our workman's comp expense and our liability expense back in 2011-12, before we had a safety manager. And since then, how we have kept those expenses in control and under control. And that's my presentation for you gentlemen as an executive summary for the budget.
Thank you, Peter. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No.
Had a few things I wanted to comment on. I know as we have said really throughout this process, I'm not going to say it's a bad budget, but the process to get here has been painful, I think, for a lot of our department heads. I think that would be fair to say. I'm hoping that we can avoid this in the future by better provisioning regular cost of living increases for our our workforce. I think in the past, we have not done as good of a job as we could have done. And it tends to catch up with us, and it leads us to these painful years. So that's definitely going to be, at least in my mind. Of course, it all depends on revenue. It depends on the economy. It depends on a lot of things. You can't just commit right here to doing whatever. But I think that's something that we should commit to do is trying to fully fund our cost of living increases for our workforce. We do have, as Peter indicated, we do have some things coming up in the future that he did not cover in this presentation. We have, I think, 3 major financial albatrosses that we have coming down the pipe. Number one, our road system. As you indicated earlier, in recent history, we've only resurfaced roads, replaced our roads on about every 100-year cycle. Now, you can't continue that indefinitely. At some point, it starts to catch up with you. And I think it's starting to catch up with us now. So we are investing extra in this budget into roads. It gets it down to a 33% cycle, but that's still not where it needs to be. We have this administrative building. It's we're investing a lot of money on the outside, but the inside is still very old. And we're going to have to most likely gut and renovate the interior of this building before the end of the decade. The jail. Our sheriff has done a great job in managing the jail population, but you can only manage that so long. And I think we're still paying for the jail we have now. I mean, we've refinanced it a couple of times. We're still paying that thing off. And at some point, we're going to have to build a new jail or expand the one that we have. Sales and use tax was up is projected to be up 3.4%. Ad valorem taxes, and we're pretty good with that number. That's going to be up 1%. So 3.4% on sales and use tax. Ad valorem tax only up 1%, but the wage study is up 7.4%. That's the increase in the wages. So that's why this budget has been extremely painful. Our department heads did have to sacrifice a lot to be able to implement this wage study. We cannot ask our department heads to continue to sacrifice at this level and expect that services will not be impacted. I think that services, quite frankly, may be a little impacted this year, but we've got to do, we've got to do a good job next year of giving our department heads the things that they need. And the cost of living is not going to go down. So we still have to be prepared for that. I think as we begin to implement this new budget year, one of the focuses that I'm going to have, and I've already mentioned this to our chief administrative officer, is we've got to, instead of asking our department heads to sacrifice the things that they know that they need, the things that we know that they need, how can we run the county in a more efficient manner? And so the 3 items I've identified, which is not a be all and end all, it's not going to save the budget, but it's telecom. We spend a lot of money on telecom. We have this building having one internet service, that department having another internet service. We need to consolidate that and make that spending more efficient. Printers, we have different departments with different contracts for printing service companies. I think that's an opportunity. And electricity, I don't think there's a lot of juice that we can squeeze out of that term, but whatever we can save in electricity, we've got to do it. Now, we do have in this budget strategic planning, and I want to ask all of our department heads to participate in that, because as I sent out an email last week, this strategic plan that we are going to work on, it doesn't need to be the county commission's strategic plan. I mean, we just fund things. I mean, we don't run the county. We just fund the county at the end of the day. So we need our department heads to be engaged in this process and help us figure out what we need to be funding 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. So we know about roads, we know about the admin building, we know about the jail. What else? So we need to know those things. So anyway, that's my comment. Peter, I appreciate you and your staff. I know it has been difficult. I appreciate our department heads. I know I've asked a lot, and we've had to budget a lot of our departments in a way that they would, quite frankly, not prefer. But But we had to do what we got to do because we've got to invest in our employees. Because we, like I said earlier, we had the service anniversary people here earlier. Nothing gets done without our employees. Bad guys don't get put in jail. The bad guys don't stay in jail. You can't get a tag without our employees. So we greatly appreciate them and we need to invest in them appropriately. Any final comments?
Appreciate the effort, everyone.
All right. We have a motion and a second. So all in favor of approving the budget, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion passes. Item number 7 is a request to approve chairman to sign right-of-way easement for Wiregrass Electric Cooperative Incorporated.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Herring, and I think I heard Harvey down there. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion is approved. Staff reports, Mr. Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No additional reports, sir.
Thank you, Mr. County Engineer.
We have 4 roads we're gonna pave this fall. There's currently no closed road permanently. We're gonna be working on Lynn Jarvis, Enon, Enterprise Church, and West Cook, zipping, doing a lot of pre-construction stuff on there to get them ready to pave.
Good, good.
There'll be a lot of activity on these roads this fall.
Okay, all right, good deal. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. County Attorney. All right. That's the last item on the agenda. So this time we'll entertain a motion to adjourn, and we are adjourned. Thank you.